out there who were questioning her legitimacy, and she didn't need to do that. You're the vice president of the United States. Come out swinging. And then she got it going. And from that point forward, when she called the former president of the United States unserious, that's when I said, uh-oh, here we go. Can you stand the heat? I believe Kamala Harris can. I just want to see her show the world she can. Now, she did it in the debate. I don't care what anybody said. She smoked Trump during that debate. He babbled on where they're eating pets, they're eating dogs, they're eating cats. Remember that? And he looked ultimately silly. President of the United States. It wasn't her job to lead. She has to go along with the program. You are a support base. You support the person that is in charge, who happened to be Joe Biden. That's number one. Number two, I know you're not talking about somebody being lucid and cogent and enunciating their thoughts with clarity, and you're bragging about Donald Trump. We can't be watching the same stuff if that's what you're doing. You ain't going to do that today.
You know
now,
what?
Lindsey Graham.
It's funny how this man was one of Kamala's biggest supporters. Now, to be fair, he always criticized that she should have done more interviews. However, he was a big fan of Kamala. And now when you see Stephen A. Smith after the election, he literally panders to these GOP right-wingers. Let's go ahead and talk about it. What's up, everybody? It's your boy AT2, and we're going to talk about Stephen A. Smith. Now, I want to say this about Stephen A. Smith. We all know him for First Take. He's a sports broadcaster. We know him for sports, right? But now he has a show where he's doing like trending topics and politics, doing kind of like what I do. And he's been running with this. Mind you, he called out Shannon Sharp and said he's like Wendy Williams, but homie, now you gossiping too. So we're going to go ahead and get into all of that. But he said he feels that he was a fool for voting for Kamala. So we're going to go ahead and play that clip for you guys right now. And I'm going to give you my honest thoughts about it, because again, I feel like they put Stephen A. Smith on this pedestal. They also do it with Charlemagne, where all of a sudden they're the representatives for the black people and they speak for us. And no, they don't. Even I don't speak for the black community. We're not a monolith, right? But with Stephen A. Smith, he's going on these platforms and they're giving him praise. Let me give you an example real quick before we actually get into the video. Now, these are just from different YouTube shows that he has done. Well, I mean, he goes on Fox, he goes on different YouTube platforms. He also goes on The View. So I'm just going to go ahead and read the headlines, and you let me know what you think in the comment section. So this one, Stephen A. Smith makes Bill Maher go quiet and his scorching attack on Democrats. That's from Fox News. Then you have from The View, Stephen A. Smith on the minority vote for Trump and if he would run for office. Listen, Stephen A. Smith been teasing that he might run for office. Please don't. Then another one from Fox News. Stephen A. Smith goes off on DEMS. This is why they lost. Because he's the Dem expert, even though he's an independent. Stephen A. Smith saw Trump's win coming from a mile away. Last one. Dems fall into Trump's trap when overreacting. Stephen A. Smith. Now he's like a political analyst. He knows everything. Like, if you want to know anything, what's wrong with the Democrats, go to Stephen A. Smith. Even though he does sports, that's what he's known for. Even sometimes that's questionable. But it's not just that. He also gives out misinformation, just like he tried to put this whole conspiracy theory that the right-wingers have been putting out there that January 6th was an inside job and the feds were working on it. And that's not what it is at all. And Roland Martin actually got into it with him because he was peddling this narrative. Let me actually pull it up for you guys. We're not going to watch it, but check out Roland Martin if you want to see his response. Hey, check out Stephen A. if you want to see his response too. Let me go ahead and pull it up here. So it says, Roland Martin ripped Stephen A., Sage Steele, Clay Travis, MAGA over January 6th DOJ report. And by the way, it didn't say that they had informants in there doing illegal activities or they set this up. It was basically letting you know that they had informants there and they gave information. Now, they weren't directed to do anything illegal. And that's what the misinformation that Stephen A. and these other people were peddling, that they were there tearing up the Capitol and all that. No, they were not. They were literally there just giving information. But let's go ahead and pull up the clip from Baller Alert. Shout out to our friends at Baller Alert, even though they don't know we're friends. Shout out to them. Let's go ahead and pull it up where he says he felt like a damn fool. Let's see why he felt like a fool. Let me pull it up here. All right, you guys see the headline.
Okay, let's be honest here. First of all, one could argue that Obama resonated more because the people chose him to be the Democratic nominee for the presidency of the United States of America, as opposed to somebody backdooring their way into that position. Let's just be honest about it. You had Biden. I know that you supported Biden. Obviously, you spoke about his mental acuity and all of that other stuff, but we all saw what we saw. Before the debate on June 27th, when the debate happened, and by the time that was exposed, it then waited 3 weeks after that before he decided to walk away, but it was too late for anybody else to get in. So Kamala Harris, who didn't resonate during the primaries in 2020, couldn't even get to Iowa, suddenly is the Democratic nominee. And then then you roll up at the convention in Chicago, and everybody's like, she's a rock star. So it was like, wait a minute, how that happened? I don't know how that happened. So you're looking at all of those things and you're saying, yes, I voted for her. Okay.
Before we go to the next part, let me just answer that. So yeah, we did vote in Barack Obama. We did vote in Joe Biden. That is correct. Yeah, we can't deny that. Now, he wants to talk about how we just put her in there and now she's a rock star. Honestly, within 107 days, what were the Democrats supposed to do? People keep putting this narrative out there like, oh, well, they should have did a primary. Yes, in a perfect world, if Joe Biden had dropped out early enough, yes, there definitely should have been a primary. I don't deny that. However, within 107 days, we're supposed to do this primary debates and everything. Like, listen, it would have ended up with the same result with Trump winning. Let's go ahead and go to the next clip.
So you're looking at people voted for her. But in the end, we end up feeling like damn fools because we supported it. We fell for the okie doke, as they say. You know, she didn't. If you had a primary, the likelihood is that she would not have been the Democratic nominee. And you can't say that about Trump in this style. You can't.
That's water under the bridge.
It's water under the bridge. A lot of people.
All right. So again, the narrative is if we had a primary, she would not have been the nominee. I actually don't agree with that. I think if they would have put in somebody else and skipped over Kamala, I feel like that would have had backlash as well too. Because with that, they'll be like, oh, well, you guys are skipping over his VP and a black woman and saying, hey, thank you for being the VP, but we don't think that you could be president. So we're going to skip over you. That definitely wasn't going to be the right move either. But I honestly feel if they were to do a primary, say if Joe Biden did drop out early enough to do a primary, more than likely she would have been the nominee. I think she would have had the support from Biden and also the donors from Biden. She would have had enough money to run and gain support. She would have ended up being the nominee. I don't believe in that narrative that, oh, yeah, they would have found somebody else. No. They wouldn't have. And don't forget, there are reports saying that a lot of the different people like Gavin Newsom and all these other rising Democratic stars, they basically did not want to go up against Trump so late in the game because they didn't want to be the one to lose to Trump. So don't forget that either. But even with that being said, Stephen A. Smith was a supporter of Kamala. Why didn't he say this before? If you look through Stephen A. Smith videos, never said this at all. Now, he has always questioned why Kamala didn't do interviews, early on when she first became the nominee, which was a fair criticism, right? But as far as, they just plugged her in and made her a rock star, he's obviously hearing that from somewhere, and now he's regurgitating that. He literally makes these people like a Bill Maher, and I can't even just say GOP or right-wingers because Bill Maher is not. He makes the people who have criticisms for the Democrats feel good. He literally spews all those same talking points. He's just like Charlemagne, Charlemagne was in the room with Kamala. All your concerns, you didn't address that with her. Mind you, you interviewed her. Same with Stephen A. Smith. Maybe if you got a chance to interview her, maybe you could have asked her those different questions and try to get her on your show. Or maybe she just didn't want to do your show and that's why you're mad. I don't know. Right there is just speculation. But it's so crazy how once she loses, you all of a sudden turn on her. When I played you guys that video in the beginning, he was saying positive things. Like listen, people will switch up fast. And now every party, when they lose, they usually go through why they lost and go through the motions. It happens all the time. It's not that Stephen A. Smith isn't doing anything that other people do. It's just that he is not a political analyst. And they're putting him out there and shoving them literally down our throats and making it seem like he's the know-it-all of everything about the Democrats, but he's an independent, and also black people. And it's all like, no, who made Charlemagne and Stephen A. Smith the representative? I'm just saying. So there's another clip from Twitter that I want to bring up for you guys. One moment. Let me go ahead and shut this down. So yes, I know we don't go to Twitter, X, whatever. I know we're not supposed to, but I do want to play this clip because I feel like it's important. So let's go ahead and pull it up here. So this is another clip of him when he was on Bill Maher's show. It's from the same night. But again, like I said, I had to go to Twitter to actually find it. Yes, I still call it Twitter. All right, here we go.
The man was impeached twice. He was convicted on 34 felony counts. And the American people still said, he's closer to normal than what we see.
Exactly.
Left. That's what they're saying. He's closer to normal. Why? Because something that pertains, when you talk about the transgender community, for example, and you're talking about the issues that pertain to less than 1% of the population, the Democratic Party came across as if that was a priority more so than the other issues. And so
I really hate this talking point about the transgender community. I honestly hate it. And we're going to do a separate show on the transgender community because I feel like America hates transgender people. And we need to have that open and honest conversation so everybody can hear it, so we can get it out and we can move forward. You guys know that Trump ran those attack ads on Kamala saying that she's for them, they, and not for us or for the people, or Trump is for the people, right? And she was for sex change operations and transgender care for illegal immigrants and prisoners. Listen, that law was already put into place. And you want to know what year that went into place? 2017, when Trump was the president. Why didn't he do anything about that beforehand? Also, some more misinformation that they put out here about sex changes. What you don't know is only one sex change was ever done in prison, and that was in 2022. Now, I have no clue why they did that, but 2022 was the first time and only time they have ever done that. And Kamala skirted around the whole topic about identity politics. She did not touch on it. They kept talking about how she was Indian or she was black, and they kept going back and forth. She was a woman, she was this, she was that. And she completely avoided those subjects. It was the Republicans that made transgenders an issue. It was the Republicans that made immigrants the issue. They played identity politics. But again, let's keep going.
comes into office, now you're talking about childbirth citizenship and what have you. He knows that's not going to pass the mustard, but he knows that he made that promise. So when he shows up week 1 on Capitol Hill and he says, this is what we're going to do through an executive order, even though it's going to be shot down through the courts and what have you, he's saying, I kept my promise. A lot of other things that he's going to point to that he's going to try to do, I kept my promise. Then you turn around and you look at the left and you say, what promises did you keep? Now, you might know the answer to that. I'm certainly not questioning your knowledge about that at all. What I'm saying is what resonated with the voter. What voter out there can look at the Democratic Party at this moment in time and say, there's a voice for us, somebody that speaks for us, that goes up on Capitol Hill and fights the fights that we want them fighting on our behalf.
Now, I will say this. He's not wrong in the Democrats needing somebody to fight for them, because there's obviously at least for the last 10 years, there have been a messaging issue with the Democrats. There is a big messaging issue. Now, the Democrats can be for the people as far as health care, as far as wanting to give government assistance, those kind of things that help Americans. But for whatever reason, Republicans resonate with the working class, the lower class. Somehow they resonate with them, even though they talk about tax cuts for the rich. Somehow they convince the middle class and the lower class that those tax cuts are for them once they give it to the billionaires and millionaires. I don't know how they were able to translate that message and make it resonate with the lower class, but that is an issue when you have another party out like, oh, we want to help you guys and raise the taxes on the rich. So then they are paying their fair share and we're able to give more assistance to the middle class and lower people. I don't know why that message from the Democrats is not resonating with people. But he, like I said, he has a point with that.
They didn't do that. And that's why their behinds are home. And that man is back into the White House. And they want to sit up there and talk. You look at the networks right now. They're talking about, look at it. This is the latest. Look at him. Here he goes again. Well, you know what here he goes again means? He's doing what he said he was going to do. He promised you he was going to do these things. And he walked into office week 1. And that's exactly what he's doing. And he's saying, y'all do something about it. And when you try to do something about it, he's going to say, look at them now. Now they're concerned about these issues. Were they talking about that during the campaign? Hell no. That's real.
Now, I will say this. I feel that, and I can stop sharing the screen. I'm done with Stephen A. Smith right now. There's a few things that I want to point out. Now, as far as Trump getting stuff that he said that he was going to get done, that's yet to be seen. Now, is he working on trying to get immigrants up out of here? Yeah, you can't deny that. He's moving fast forward with that. And that's something that he is really owning. Listen, we've seen the videos online of people crying and people upset with what's going on because they were convinced that he was just deporting the criminals. No. He was getting everybody up out of here, because if you are undocumented and you don't have your papers, you're considered the criminal. So they're going to get you up out of here. That's what a lot of people don't understand. It wasn't like, oh, the good working immigrants who go do their job and pay their taxes. No. They don't care anything about that. They're going to get you up out of here too. But also, I wanted to speak to how there's this narrative that Trump is for the people and he's going to get the job done. Did he ever build the wall? Like, come on, that was one of his main things. He was supposed to be this tough guy on immigration before with the whole wall. They didn't build a wall. They made repairs. Now, what they built out there on the border was supposed to be this new wall security. And basically, it was shown that, yeah, that new wall that y'all built, that little piece of wall, yeah, they were still able to come up over here. So the only reason why immigration was really low under Trump was because, one, COVID put a stop to everything. So yeah, in Trump's last year, yeah, all of that really stopped. And that was because we were going through a pandemic, not because he had some kind of great policy. And that was one thing that Democrats should have conveyed. But of course, they didn't. Now, they were good at saying, oh, well, don't forget, we try to put through a bill, but Trump told the Republicans, hey, don't put through that bill. Wait until I get into office and then we can do border bill. Now, the Democrats was good at passing that. I mean, not passing it, but saying that Trump was the one to stop it. However, people don't care about excuses. They just want things done. Even if Trump is telling them that he's going to get it done and he's lying, which more than likely he's lying, as long as he's saying it to them and it resonates with them and he's talking to them as if they're human and not all this other talk that they don't understand to like regular working class people, yeah, he was poised to win. And let's be honest, one thing that Trump does very well, since he ran in 2015, ended up winning the 2016 election, then you fast forward to 2020, mind you, Trump was doing rallies every year of his presidency. He was always doing rallies, which was very smart. The Democrats, they do a rally 3 months before election. Like, come on now. Trump consistently was doing rallies. Even when he lost in 2020, he was out the following year doing rallies again. He was already preparing himself to run again. Democrats are always playing catch up. It seems like they're never on the offense. They always have to play defense. It's a sad truth. Now, if he wants to explain that, that's one thing. But with Stephen A. Smith, he's literally now just praising Trump and all that. It's disgusting to watch. Because I feel like if you're going to be fair, have those conversations before the election. Don't have those conversations afterwards. And then you tell people, oh, I feel like a fool because they just plug Kamala in there and blah, blah, blah. Listen, no black person or person of color is ever going to be given a job. They got to earn it. And I feel that when Democrats voted, at least for me, when I voted for Joe Biden, I didn't think he was making it the whole 8 years. I've asked this question before. Did anyone think Joe Biden was making it the whole 8 years? No. We had an idea that Kamala was going to end up being either the nominee to run again or becoming president. Let's be honest about that. We didn't think Joe Biden was making it the whole 8 years. But something that people don't talk about is we were in dire need in 2020. Joe Biden literally had to pull us up out the mud because of the way Trump left it. And it seems like a lot of people don't remember how 2020 was. It's almost like they forgot about that, how chaotic it was. But here we go again, 4 years later, and now we got Trump again. Let's see what he does this time. And again, I'm not saying I speak for the black community, but I'm not going to try to give y'all misinformation or try to put y'all out there and play y'all for stupid at the same time either. But I love y'all for watching. Make sure to hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I appreciate y'all. We out of here, y'all.